Welcome to another episode of Season 2 of the Weeb Retreat podcast. We hope you enjoy your stay. We are the Weebs, your hosts. My name is James. This is Jerms. And today, as always, we have a lot to talk about. How you doing today, bro?
Doing good. It's a nice and spicy week once again. Some spicy episodes as always. It's a good luck. We got good luck here.
Exactly. As always, we have a great show for you guys today. Timestamps will be in the description below. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also move the cursor to what are they called? Little time slots. So if there's any topic that you're not interested in, just look at all the timestamps we have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. As always, we're going to start with the weekly roundup for this summer 2021 anime season. We always start with our beloved Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Season 2, Episode 7. What'd you think of this week's episode, Jerms?
Dude, these episodes feel so dense and yet so good, man. It feels so good. You would think after, like, with such a dense show, something like, for example, like Cowboy Bebop or something, like, where it's like a lot of stuff happens one episode, but you're like, after you're done, you're like, whew, I need to take a little break or something. But with Kobayashi, like, the episodes are so dense and it feels so good. It's just like, it's just so good. So many little parts in this week's episode. We had the Quetzalot with doing her little photo shoot with Fafnir.
Yeah, I know.
Then Toru, like, why do humans, go to sleep and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's a nice little, the nice little serious talk of the episode. And then we have your favorite girls, Kana and what's her name again?
Saikawa.
Having them to go on another adventure again, looking for ghosts and stuff. So it just feels good, man. It just feels good. Every single one of those parts hit a different little spot, That first part hit that lewdness, with the big titties, you got a little bit of that. They get the more serious moments in that middle, and then just the fun, having a little adventure at the end there. It was nice and wholesome. So it's just an absolutely beautiful episode that we had this week. So nothing really else needs to be said from me. What did you think?
Well, before I get to what I think about it, I got to say that's probably the best rundown you've ever given on a single episode before. You touched on everything. You touched on the emotions you felt throughout it. Like, that was round of applause for you, Jerms. That was really good. Yeah, I don't know how to top that. I mean, I guess I'll go through there's like 3 parts to the episode, right? So, the Fafnir and Luko, I don't know how to however you say her name, Big Tits. I just call her Big Tits. I thought that was hilarious. I think it's so funny that Fafnir can never sell. Like just the running joke of a series, like when a series has a running joke like that, it's just nice, it's just that good, warm, wholesome feeling. Yeah, the etchiness in this episode was good, as we mentioned. Mm-hmm. And then we get the sleep part of the episode. Kobayashi asks about it. I love when Kobayashi Toru asked about it. I love when Kobayashi goes into these more serious sort of, not dramatic, but sort of the more serious tone of the series. I love it. I love it, man. It's just so wholesome. You get to see. I mean, it's a slice of life. That's what you're watching here. But you get to see the more soft sort of daily lives of these characters. Not the first part was a little bit crazy, a little fun. Having fun watching that. But then you get to something like this, and you really feel for the characters. And that is something that if we're to believe this world and to fall in love with this world, that is something that Toru would be curious about. You know what I mean? Because she's from a completely different existence. And then we have the third part with Kana and Saikawa. I loved it. I love the old couple. Just great. Chasing, what were they chasing? Dragons or ghosts or whatever. It's just cute. I'm here for that. I'm always here for that. I'll always watch that. I'm always interested in that. I think Kana's the cutest thing ever. And I think Saikawa, while she can go overboard sometimes, it's so fucking funny, dude. It's so funny. And this is what I've been saying about Kobayashi, man. They have such a wide cast of characters, and it's all about the relationships, even Fafnir has a relationship with Big Tits. Like, they all have a way of talking to each other and interacting with each other. And solid episode, man. Solid episode.
Yeah, Fafnir had some nice little moments there. Who's like, you're the only one I could trust to do this. Turned away. It was so good. All these characters always have such like nice little depth to them. They're not just one-sided characters. Big Tits isn't just Big Tits. Fafnir is not just a edgy dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives that little extra spice that really takes it over the top that a lot of shows don't really give, unfortunately. But that's what Kobayashi does every week, man, every week.
Well, I think that's a big summary of Kyoto Animation, just in general. I think that they just put in so many little details that just push it over the edge. Takiya's place with Fafnir. You just look at the background, and it's all, you know, it's all
Weeb,
weeb shit. It's all figurines and video game stuff. I mean, this anime is beautiful, beautiful. The I love the backgrounds of the first season, but this season is really taking it to another level, in my opinion. I mean, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous show to watch. So much heart. Lots to talk about with this one. Lots to talk about with this one.
I
So
would
yeah,
agree.
would you say one of the better of the season?
Yeah,
One of the better episodes?
I would definitely agree. It gave that little bit of a little touch and everything there that was all top quality. So it's kind of hard because I now thinking back on the season, it's like every episode's been that fire. It's like it's like has this been fire? Like is that slightly that more fire than the other one? It's like it's hard. It's always hard to tell with Kobayashi because it's just so good all the time.
Yeah. It's
So
funny. This
yeah.
week, because I'm fresh off season one, right? I had to watch season one to prepare for this one. Thank you for getting on my ass about that. I'm very happy that we got to put this one on the roundup. I gotta say, man, I put on episode one just to see how it looked, and this season looks better. And I know that the first season came out 3 years ago now, but
Mm.
man, the animation looks even better now. Kyoto Animation has really done themselves a great job here. And, I think just the content of the season's even better. The first season, they're establishing characters, you're kind of getting used to this wide cast of characters and how are these dragons, interacting in normal society. But now that that's all done, now we get to have the fun stuff. And the fun stuff is all the relationships, all the cute moments we get. I think
Hmm.
this season's even, knock on wood, I'm not trying to jinx it. I think this season's even better than the first. And I love the first. So that's saying a lot for me.
Hmm. Yeah, just a great episode.
Yep. Yeah. Final thoughts for this week's episode of Miss Kobayashi.
Top tier as always. It's enough. That's enough said right there. If you're not watching and you're somehow listening to us to watch it, you just gotta watch it, man. Our words can't do it justice enough.
I know. I know. Everyone hypes up shows, right? You got to watch this show. You got to watch this show. What I can say about Kobayashi is, listen, I'm not the hype machine, right? I'm not going to say it's for everyone. But if you want something slice of life, if you want something a little bit easier, not something super involved, just something fun and cute, I highly, highly recommend Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Both seasons have been fire. So yeah, guys, comment down below. Are you guys watching Kobayashi with us? We'd love to hear if you guys are. And yeah, just what a great, great fun experience so far. All right, let's
Hmm.
move on to another experience. I'd say it's more interesting than fun at this point. Worst title in all of anime. That'll never change. Peach Boy Riverside, episode 8. Please tell the people, what'd you think of this one, Germs?
Oh my god! Last week I was talking about the whiplash of just all we're jumping
Yep.
forward, jumping back. I think this is our biggest jump, because we're back in after the village got destroyed all the way to here. So it's like we're just zoomed even further than we have before. So it's just like, okay, we're finally back here, seeing what Sally was gonna say to. Was she choosing the demon side or the ogre side, or is she choosing the human side? We finally
Right?
got to see her answer. She chose Makoto, and
Which was
Makoto's
kind
like,
of bullshit. Which was kind of bullshit because she went with him, but then she's like, well, I want ogres and humans to live in peace. And it's like, well, that's not what he stands for. So that reveal was kind of lackluster, man. Let's be honest. She didn't really choose a side there. It was a nice cliffhanger, but the payoff was not worth the wait, in my opinion. Would you agree with that?
like maybe if she chose both her hands and said that or something, maybe, and then
Yeah.
the ogre guy was like, no, blah blah or something like that. But yeah, she's been sticking with Makoto, this
Yeah.
whole little while, so it makes sense she went with him. And then some nice little moments there. We get to see some of the other ogres coming in now, and then the priest is now stopping Sally from helping out the knight guy, whatever his name is again.
Hawthorne, I
Is he
think.
Hawthorne, because he's probably gonna die because he's going against an ogre and he's just a human, So
Yeah.
it's some interesting setup here. But I imagine they're probably gonna just flash us back again because he's or something like that again.
Yeah, I should have said this. Next week's this chronologically speaking, I believe is the 10th. Again, this is all from comments I'm reading, man. We're watching Japanese anime here. It's not super clear how it's being released, right? So chronologically speaking, this is the 10th episode. Obviously, broadcast wise, we're in episode 8, but chronologically, I think this is the 10th. Next week's will be the 12th, the final episode of the season. So the 11th episode, which is in between there, we'll have to wait for God knows how many weeks to see what happens with all these fights. But we're gonna get the end of the season next week.
No, please.
I know. That's what I'm reading, bro. That's what I'm reading.
Who okayed this anywhere? Like, I don't think like whoever. It doesn't matter what language, no culture, no nothing. It's like who thinks like, okay, the final episode. Yeah, we'll have it like episode 9. Oh, okay. What the other episodes? Yeah, we'll mix those around too, to confuse them.
Yeah, we're not here to harass or call anyone out, but it's the director. Don't know his name, but it's obviously the director's choice. I thought I read somewhere that he wanted this season to end off on a certain note, and so having the final episode was not what he wanted. So that's why it's out of order. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Is the final episode gonna be episode 11 or something like episode like it's maybe we'll go back to episode 0 for episode 12 or something crazy like that. Some totally out of order. Maybe we're still missing something from the past. We probably are.
Well, from what I'm reading, next week's episode is the final of this season, chronologically speaking. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Anything else about this week's episode? We're bagging on the order of it, but anything about the actual content of the episode do we have to talk about?
No, it was not too bad. It was pretty nice. Hawthorne using his sword to like redirect the lightning. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like nice little moments like that.
Right.
Now that I remember, he got his fucking ass saved randomly by some new person.
You didn't bring that up, but we did get a new waifu at the end there. She saved his ass, and I have something to say about that, but I'll wait my turn. But yeah, he got his ass saved.
So it's just like, why? It's like it's happening all out of nowhere. So it's just like, we'll see what happens next week, and maybe they can save it a little bit there, but we'll see. So we won't even see next week what happens in between here because
that's the point I'm trying to make. We're not going to see the conclusion of some of these fights because we're going to get the conclusion of the season. So we're going to be left on a cliffhanger with Hawthorne and new waifu and all that sort of stuff,
Mm-hmm. So, yep. It's gonna be interesting to see next week. It's literally makes zero sense to me why they would ever do this, but maybe the director has some crazy plan in store, man. Maybe he got some crazy plan. I don't think so, but we'll see.
No.
We'll see.
No, it's not. It's certainly a plan, but it's not one that's really resonating with audiences, at least from the comments that I'm reading. Anime is made for a Japanese audience. Maybe the Japanese love this stuff. I can't imagine they would. The Japanese audience is smart. They have anime over there. They love it. I can't imagine people are watching this broadcast version and thinking it's a great choice, but who knows? I know everything I'm reading. People are not happy about this. We're not happy about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so weird.
Here's where I'm at with the series. I like what I'm watching, but I don't know what I'm watching, and that's really how I feel about the season at this point. I'm very close to loving this. It's got great animation. I do like the characters. I like the fight scenes. It really has all the ingredients to make a good recipe, but because it's out of order, it's hard for me to relate to and understand character motivations, and it's just weird, man. If they just and it's just so hard to review a season like this because it's not given to you in the correct order. I mean, last week we said the analogy of reading a book out of order. I like the pages I'm reading, but they're not making sense because we're reading them out of order.
Yeah,
but definitely bunch of fights this episode, and they were all great. They're all. You know what was weird? Some of the animation this week was interesting. There was some abrupt transitions in between scenes. Listen, we've had great animation up until this point. I'm not bagging on the animation. Just very weird. You got to wonder why they did it like that.
Hmm.
Did you notice that at all? Like there was some sort of abrupt, not as smooth as it usually is during the
Mm.
fight scenes.
I didn't notice it too much.
Yeah, I'm a stickler for the. You know me. I'm a
Oh
stickler for
yeah.
that kind of shit. But yeah, here's two comments I want to read from this week's episode. Here's two comments I want to
Okay,
read.
okay, okay. First time, first time.
I can't wait 3 more weeks to see what happens after this part. That's kind of where we're all at. And then to talk about the new waifu, I thought Hawthorne was going to die, but then Winnie came to the rescue. Hard eyes. She looked familiar. What episode is she from? Oh, right. The sequence of these episodes is shit. Then laughing face. So yeah, you know the new waifu Winnie. She's probably not an Aspel. We probably are
We
going
just
to be
haven't
introduced. Yeah, but that's the thing. If we were watching this in the correct order, we'd probably know who she is, but we don't because that's
Mhm.
not how it's being fed to us.
Unfortunately.
Yep. Yeah,
So
like I
look,
said, I think I'm so close to loving this season, dude. I'm so close. Like this is, I love the fight scenes. I love the world. But there's just so much shit going on, and I already struggle with shows that are given to me in correct order. So you give me a show that's out of order, I'm gonna struggle big time. You know what I mean? So I'm like
mhm.
so close to being invested and really liking this season, but I just can't because it's not being fed to you in the correct order. And for all those watching us but not watching the series, uh, typically we'd encourage you guys to watch these episodes with us. Hop in the discussion. It's more fun to hear what we have to say weekly about a show that you're watching as well. I would recommend you guys wait on this shit. I think I said this last week too. Maybe wait on this one. This would be the only time in this podcast history where I'd say, "Hey, you know what? Don't watch this shit with us." Because normally, we want to watch it with you guys and experience it with you guys. But maybe this is one you might, if you're not watching already, if you're not already deep into this, maybe save it. Maybe save it for when it's done, so you could watch it the correct order. Because watching it this order is, it's just it dampens the experience for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's just so weird, man, how they be doing it. So weird.
Yeah, like I said, the actual episode was good. Lots of fights. I don't really know what the fuck is going on, but the fights were good. Like it was good, good content. I'm just lost in the process. So yeah,
Mhm.
final thoughts for this week's episode of the worst titled anime in existence, Peach Boy Riverside.
Like the episode was nice. So, I wasn't too much of a fan of the ass pull at the end, but now I gotta wait a few weeks. It's just like that one comment. I gotta wait a few weeks to see how this ends.
Yeah, I saw those comments and I'm like, I have to bring those up. Those are good. Those are good comments. All right, guys, are you watching Peach Boy Riverside and are you seeing the shit show that we are seeing? I think I like this, but I just not liking how they're giving it to us. Comment down below if you are going to wait to watch Peach Boy or if you're watching with alongside us. I'd be very curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. All right, let's move on here. This one's a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more fun. We have Four Hoes, episode. Sorry, it's actually titled "Girlfriend, comma Girlfriend." I didn't know that. I thought it was called Four Hoes. I didn't know that. I guess the official name is Girlfriend, Girlfriend. Episode 8. What did you make of this week's episode of Girlfriend, Girlfriend Germs?
Well, Saki was back to the forefront once again. I don't
Yes,
know.
she was.
So that, but man, the more and more episodes I'm watching, the more and more I'm seeing how dumb and how much I started to hate this MC, man.
I've been hating
I
him the whole
don't.
time. How are you just now getting to hate him?
Hey, after like 8 episodes, man, now I'm starting. Now it's starting to hit me. Now that our girl Rika Big Titties isn't showing up that much this episode. My mind started going back to actual logical thinking, and I was like, wait a second, this MC is stupid. What is he doing here?
There is no logical thinking with this show, bro.
Especially when Saki and Nagisa were talking to him, like, oh yeah, women, they just get horny sometimes, He's like, oh, it makes sense. I see. It's like, how old are you, man? Like 10?
Let me chime in on this. That's the big problem with the MC is having a clueless dork is funny sometimes, but there's certain moments where that's going to be funny, where he's not used to talking to girls, not used to social situations, kind of just wants to please everybody, like a stand-up guy who's kind of a dork. That's fun to watch every once in a while. But if that's his whole personality and that's what we're going to get episode after episode, nah, fuck that. It only works so much in certain situations. If that's their personality every once in a while, that could be funny, It's like slapstick humor.
Mm-hmm.
If that's his only personality trait that we're gonna get, like I've been saying, we're in for a long ride because I really do not fucking like this MC. Fuck him. Like it's just annoying at this point, It's just stupid. It's just dumb at this point. It was kind of funny in the beginning, but then it wears out. That sort of humor can only work for so long,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. What else? What else? I just had to chime in there. That's why
Mm.
that's why I think the MC doesn't resonate with us, because the humor is not meant to be given to us episode after episode. That's when it starts to become dry at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just like the Rika and Nagisa moments were like nice, and some of the Rika scenes were nice, but it's just like once the MC comes back into the picture, then it's just like, like I don't know. It was just like when he was like when Saki was like sitting on his lap during class, and they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's like what? It's like what is Rika gonna attack during the middle of the class? It's like this makes zero sense. And then this is just anime stuff. Like everyone was just like okay with it, but it was just like it's like is this really comedy? Like maybe if they're home or something, then that would make more sense to me. It's like okay, they're at home. She can come in any moment. I'll just sit on your lap while we eat or something. It's like okay, I can see that. Like, if they just switched up the location there, and I don't know why they're focusing on school so much the past few episodes. They're like always doing stuff at school. It's like, they live together at home. Why not do this while they're at home or something,
Mm-hmm. Well, the spicier moments are definitely going to be at home. And yeah, that's a good point that you bring up. Big tonal shift, because the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes were all like him at his house without his parents with 2 chicks. I mean, there's so many comedic situations that could pop up from that, right? I mean, you basically have the framework to have a bunch of funny / sexy / whatever type of moment you want that'll play to your audience here. But now we're back to school, which is interesting. But the absurdness has not died down. So now you have Saki sitting in his lap and just a bunch of dumb shit, man. I don't know. What's funny is you remember when Saki grabbed Rika's tits? At school? That hurt my soul, bro. She grabbed that shit and twisted that shit. I'm like, oh no. I hurt inside. You cannot handle tits like that. That is like a violation of every known law of physics, man. You cannot, especially anime, you cannot like it's fine if a bullet goes through them, right? And they're all jiggling and stuff, right? OGs will get that reference. But you cannot just grab one and it's in a non-sexual way and twist it. No, that's unacceptable behavior, and that physically hurt me to watch that. That was like watching nails on a chalkboard. I recoiled a little bit. I'm like, no, you can't do that. And then go ahead.
No, I was so surprised you see that part of the episode that hurt your soul.
And it was at school too. Like it wasn't even at home. She just like grabs her tit in front of everyone. It's like, okay, like sexual harassment and then also like physical abuse at the same time. Like, okay,
hey, it's not America, man. It's Japan. They got should be different over there.
I know. They got gangs running. They got middle school gangs running around over there. They got all types of stuff going on over there.
Japan's crazy, man. Crazy.
Then the other, lowest crime rate in the world, but we got shit like this going on, right? Crazy. So yeah, then we also have the in heat moment. Did your sub? I think your subs. I think we get our subs the same place. Yeah. So I think if it was both in heat, yeah. Listen, I can't lie. I sat through that smiling. I thought it was funny, but it's like, am I laughing because it's funny, or am I laughing because it's so absurd? Right? Like, am I laughing with the show, or am I laughing at the show? I can't really tell at this point. I was smiling, but yeah, there's so much dumb shit in the show for sure. And that's all. I mean, that's all I have to say. Just the notable. Yeah, I mean, it's a chore. It's other than the notable moments, it's a chore to kind of sit through this stuff. But there is notable moments. One was hard to watch. One was kind of fun to watch for me. Yeah, four hoes, man, four hoes. Anything else about this week's episode before we wrap up?
Nothing. I want to go back to more, more of that home stuff. The more spicy kind of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But because that's just where the better episodes are for me at. Don't need to worry about. They can go full wild with what they're doing here. We can be taking a shower outside, while camping. It's just made outfits with Nagisa. You get the good stuff, man.
Exactly. Well, the setting allows it. When you're at school, it's more restricted. But I guess not. I guess we got people grabbing each other's tits and stuff like that. So I have no idea what in this universe. I have no idea what's accepted or not. Just one point before we wrap up.
No problem.
Blondie is still not in the harem yet. That pisses me off. And then we have the gray hair chick, the fourth hoe. We still haven't even been introduced to her. This was the 8th episode. We got 4 left.
Mm.
I don't know, man. I came 1 in 4 girlfriends, and I only have 2 so far. Come on, false advertisement, false advertisement. But yeah, guys and gals, weebs out there, if you're watching girlfriend like we are, let us know in the comments below. Are you enjoying the absurdity, or is it just a turn off at this point? Yeah, let us know down below. All right,
Mm.
so this one, I think we've only talked about once on the podcast. I finally caught up to it. This is going to be a spicy time. The Itaden deities know only peace. Episode 6. Again, I apologize for last week's episode not being able to talk about it here on the weekly roundup, but we're gonna be talking about it on this week's weekly roundup. What we think of it. It's done by Mappa. It's such a wild ride. What did you make of this week's episode, Germs?
Well, I'll pull the Uno reverse card on you since you're the one that watched
Okay,
it all recently. So
that's fair.
what have you thought about the past few episodes and what's been going on here?
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so I'm very intrigued by this anime. Very intrigued by this anime. I gotta say, uh, yeah, I think I could confidently say this. This is easily the second best show on this summer weekly roundup that we have. Easily number 2 spot. And the first 2 episodes, because I believe we reviewed the first 2 at the same time.
Hmm.
I thought the art style was very unique and interesting, but I've got to say I've really grown to adore this art style. The color schemes of this anime, it's a very unique experience. It's
Simplicity.
yeah, it's sort of, but man, the colors are fantastic. I haven't seen colors used this fun since like a JoJo or something like that. And even just the background colors, right? Like during fight animation, like like the lines that run across the screen,
Hmm.
different, the way colors change with those type of backgrounds, just really good stuff. Um, yeah, the fight scenes are phenomenal. One thing I can say, it's going a little bit too fast for my liking. The pacing, I read in one of the comments, you know how I lock in an episode, I read some of the comments. One of the comments was one of the episodes adapted like a full volume of the manga. That's a little bit concerning. I think it
Hmm.
is going a little bit fast, but it's not too fast where it's like where I'm not enjoying it at all. If they could dampen it down a little bit, that'd be great. But they're probably, how the studios work. They're probably trying to wrap up episode 12 or 11. I think this one runs for 11 at a certain point, right? To conclude a certain arc or something like that.
Hmm.
So a little fast for my pace, but yeah, you just see stuff in this anime that you won't see in other anime. I mean, for Christ's sake, we had like we had a vibrator in this fucking episode, and this is a non hentai anime. I think last week's, Miku was talking to the nun, and she was like, "Yeah, or no, the soldier, whoever it was talking to that nun, talking about what the soldiers did to her for days on end." I mean, this is not a children's show at all. It looks like it, but it's certainly not a children's show at all.
Hmm.
There's a
It's
lot going
wild.
on. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm really interested. I really like it. If we could tone it down a little bit, if we can hit the brakes a little bit and just get used to the world, because I'm still getting used to the whole Itaden versus demon aspect of the show. But yeah, the show has certainly taken a more Miku focused route, and I think we could. I think I speak for both of us when I say we both like her time on screen. Little, she's like a sex addict sort of nympho crazy girl, but she's fun to watch. She's fun to watch.
Oh, oh, my favorite moment from this episode was the like when she was like, "Oh, I'm using that vibrator real quick. I'll be right back," and then she comes back and it's like post climax clarity, and I was like,
Oh, I didn't even
"Oh."
realize that. That's funny.
I was like, "Why is she so serious?" And it's like, "Oh, post climax." It's like, "Oh." They put the little details in there.
Yep, yep.
Wild. That
Yeah,
was hilarious.
I think Map is handling this one really good. A lot of subtleties in this anime. Yeah, in my subs, she was like, "Yeah, I need to go to the bathroom." Then the other girl was like, "Well, why are you taking that thing with you?" And she's like, "Well, fine, I just need to fuck then." It's like, okay, like, I love the dialogue. But yeah, the action's great in this one, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
of
easily.
everything on this roundup, easily the best action is with Itaden right now. And yeah, I'm just not used to the characters. I'm just not used to the world. But what they're giving me is good stuff. So where are you at with the show? I'm very curious.
I'm liking it. It's got a little bit. It's a little bit got the little bit more mature. Story. The action's really nice. The characters are very interesting. That one main girl, the one with the big titties. The
Hmm.
one that can change weight pretty good. Like she hasn't really shown much character that past little while, but Glasses dude is really interesting. He's
Yeah.
like he's really good with like he was able to like brainwash the general chick and then like those two other dudes. That last episode was a pretty wild one there.
Yeah.
Him doing that to her. And and I was going to talk about last week's episode during that moment, like when his fight against the general, like he was talking about like you demons, like, usually, you'd have no intelligence, like you're just, straight raw power, but because you have this human intelligence, now you're worrying about me, you showing me your tits. He's like, I don't care. I'm just a god.
Oh yeah, that moment.
So
Yeah.
that was a very interesting thing here because
What's funny is the manga is uncensored. So when he rips her shirt off, you see her tits. And then in this one, she's hiding them. Maybe there's an uncensored version when it hits, home release, but yeah. Like we've been saying, the content is very adult here. It looks like a kid show. This is not a kid show,
hmm yeah. So I thought that talk was very interesting. He's like, I don't, I've seen your tits, whatever, but I'm thinking logically here. Why would you even
He,
cover yourself if and this is a life or death situation here? And I was like, it's very interesting here.
the dialogue was fantastic because my sub read something like, "No need to worry. The only bed I'm gonna operate on is something with surgical." Like he was talking about, he related her fears to him being a scientist, and he's like, no worries. The only weapons I'm gonna use are like needles because he used to dissect. He used to do stuff to humans, right?
hmm
Check out human anatomy because he's a god, right? But yeah, the dialogue was so clever. If anyone saw last week's episode, knows what I'm talking about. He related her fears of being raped or anything like that to him um, doing scientific creepy stuff. Like I just thought the dialogue was immaculate. That was like perfect dialogue there. That was really good stuff.
hmm Yeah, I would agree as well. That was really interesting to hear about. So I
Yeah.
think the dialogue in the show is really good. The
Hmm.
characters sometimes are a little iffy sometimes, but the characters have some nice moments there. So maybe the character work on just a tiny bit. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard to. But
I feel like
it is the Kobayashi author we're talking about here. So they'll probably start getting some of that built in there.
okay, was it the Kobayashi author or the manga artist? Because for those of you who don't know, Peach Boy, Kobayashi, and Itaden, they're all related by somehow. They're all related somehow. Um,
Mhm.
the original character design is Cool Kyo Shinja. I think she's or he, I don't know. Okay, they're the original creator of Kobayashi. They're the original creator of Peach Boy, but they are the character design of Itaden. So
Mhm.
I guess it's not the same mind that created this, but still, they're linked in, they're linked.
Mhm.
Everyone jokes that this is their season. What
Mhm.
however you pronounce that name. I think it's a pen name. Like I don't, it's probably one of those those names where it's, they're trying to hide their identity. So, but it's kind of like their season. They have their 3 manga that they've worked on being adapted, which is really cool.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the action is absolutely killing it. That's not even
Beautiful.
not even a question.
Fucking
Just some
great.
the dialogue is fantastic. The characters aren't at that level yet, but I think with time, at the time characters can easily be built up and improved
Mhm.
on. But the
Yeah.
story, it's nice solid premise, nice solid action. So now we only can really only go up from here, So
Mhm.
I see some good potential in this show, and there's
Oh,
still
I do
like
too.
six episodes left. So we still got, well, that's assuming it's 12. I think it might be a little bit longer, maybe
It's slated for 11.
11. Oh, okay. Well, I
Yeah.
think they can still do some solid stuff. The pacing has been really nice with the show as well. So
Yeah.
I see really good potential in this show. So I'm really excited to see what they do next.
I disagree. We just generally disagree on pacing. I think the pacing's been a little bit too fast, just for my taste. I feel like we've been picked up and thrown into a war zone, and it's like, yeah, here's this new world, and I'm like trying to get used to it. You know what I mean? But
Well, I think the Itaden, the deities are also trying to, they've also kind of been thrown into this world. They're trying to figure out what's
true,
going on.
true,
So
true.
I
So
think
that
it really fits to the story, in my
true.
opinion.
Yeah, that might be a stylistic choice for the story. So that yeah, that makes sense. But I really do like the foreshadowing they're doing with Dr. Robotnik, right? Like is he skinny Dr. Robotnik? Is he an Itaden? Is he a demon?
Demon.
So that's really cool to see. Even Miku was questioning that. And then now, the episode left off where this is another thing. It's just the plot is very involved. For 6 episodes, this is a very involved plot. It looks like one of the nations was going to declare war on the other nation. The guy giving the sermon was saying they're unholy. They're not, sort of religious like we are to some degree. And then
Hmm.
Isley, or however you pronounce it, and Paula break in the window. They're just like, yeah, we're the gods. So I guess they're trying to prevent a war. I just gotta get used to it, Like, are the Itaden? They're like they watch over mankind, but they also don't want to interfere with mankind. And I'd also like to understand a little bit more of the process of how Itaden are created. But then again, I'd also like to understand the process of the demons. I mean, we have these demons working for skinny Dr. Robotnik, but they're smart, intelligent demons. So obviously he wants to take over the world somehow and mass produce them. So yeah, I mean, it's just that's a lot of ground to cover for 5 episodes, but I'm very curious to see where it goes. And I'm
Hmm.
really liking it. I'm really liking it. It's almost there for me to say this is fantastic. This is great. I just got to fall in love with the characters a little bit more. And the pacing, I'd like to get a little bit more comfortable with things, but it's so close. I mean, it's so close. The production's great. I mean, the fight
Hmm.
scenes, the way it looks, the way it sounds, great, great, great stuff. But no one's watching it, right? I mean, this is not super popular this season.
Unfortunately, it's a really good show, man. Really good.
I think we found our hidden gem, kind of like Megalobox of last season, right? I mean, it's known, but not a lot of people watching it. Guys and gals, weebs out there, comment down below. Are you one of the few people like us watching the Itaden deities only know peace? We don't. We try not to recommend too many things because everyone's full of hype. But if you like action and you like Mappa, I'd say give this a shot. It's a very interesting premise. This is not like most anime that you're going to come across. So yeah, comment
Hmm.
down below if you are interested in watching it or you guys are watching it with us. We'd love to chat some of these episodes with you guys. All right, let's move on here to our final 2. This one's very familiar to us. Every episode of this podcast, we've had this show on. Maybe it's on the upswing, maybe it's not. I'm very curious to see what you have to say about it. But Boku no Hero, My Hero Academia, Season 5, Episode 20. This is the first episode of the mini arc of My Villain Academia. I hope, did you notice that title change in the OP? That was really cool to see.
Hmm.
What did you make of this week's episode, Germs?
Yeah, I liked it, man. I liked it. It got me a little spice, a little intrigue, a little, little action.
Yeah.
Seeing a little bit of his backstory and all that kind of stuff. Seeing where he got those hands from. It's his family's hands.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So I think it was a pretty good episode. We're finally getting to that good spice. I forget technically what their name was, but the revolution versus the villains.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, very curious. I mean, a lot of setup this season, but very interesting stuff. We're going to into some backstory here.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, earlier in the season, I believe it was this season. It's all jumbled at this fucking point, but Gigantomachia, Gigantomachia, he
Hmm.
was like rampaging through like a forest, and I'm like, okay, where the fuck did this come from? But now I guess maybe we've gone back in time to that, so maybe that's why he was there earlier. So we get to
Mm.
see a little training arc with Shigaraki and his crew with him, the former bodyguard of All for One. But yeah, like you said, the backstory is great with Shigaraki. Just seeing him and All for One, like that All for One music come in, that's so good, dude. So good. Good to see. Yeah, the only question I have is this new rebel faction or whatever. I feel like there's not a lot built up with them. Is this canon? Is this in the manga or is this connected to the movie somehow?
What's it again?
Is this new faction that we're learning about? Is this part of the manga or is this
No, no. This
part
is
of the
this is
movie?
this is this is part of the manga, man.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I was worried about that. Yeah. So uh, certainly one of the better episodes, but probably the best episode of Boku no Hero this season. I thoroughly
Hmm.
enjoyed it. Very fun. Last week's was really good too. Boku no Hero is been sort of a downer, but now it's back up on the upswing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. It's been nice. Now we're getting to this whole arc. This is really a nice arc here, I would say. So hopefully they do it well, and we should have a nice little ending. It's not gonna. It's a little sad that we had so many of these kind of slow episodes before this
Mm-hmm.
that we only have like 7, 8, whatever episodes of actually good stuff.
Yeah.
So overall, the season's kind of going to be kind of low on my rating, but
Oh,
hopefully
yeah.
they do this last few parts pretty well. Hopefully.
Yeah, the damage is already done, but at least these last episodes could kind of, pick up for us a little bit, which will be cool to see.
Hmm.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Awesome Boku no Hero episode. This is why I love My Hero Academia. Um, yeah, it's cool to see, a lot of stuff outside of our main cast this season, right? Like we had the Endeavor Agency arc, but I felt like that ended a little bit early, right? So we get a little bit of Todoroki's family in there. We're getting to see the League of Villains a little bit more. We got to see Hawks and his sort of, uh, you know,
What he's been doing in the
undercover.
background.
Yeah, his little undercover work. A lot of stuff sort of focusing on bigger picture stuff this season. Not a lot to do with 1A. I mean, we had 1A versus 1B, but that was a fucking snooze fest. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is all leading up to. Sort of confused at this point, but I'm here for the ride. I'm very curious to see where we're going with this. And you've read the manga, so you're hyped about where it goes.
Hmm. Yeah, this is gonna be some good stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait. Boku no Hero is certainly on the upswing for me. I genuinely like this week's episode. Usually I don't have good things to say about it, but hey, I got to praise it when praise is deserved. Really enjoyed this week's episode. What did you guys at home think of this week's episode of Boku no Hero? Is it back on the upswing? I know some people complained about this episode. Some people said, hey, it's getting better. I guess it's always going to be split with the Boku no Hero fans, right? I mean, the adaptation at this point is probably not going to live up to the manga's dark, edgy side, sort of, but I'm just happy that we're out of filler, out of some boring moments. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. All
Hmm.
right, and let's finish our weekly roundup with Tokyo Revengers episode 20. We're nearing the end with Tokyo Revengers. What'd you make of this week's episode, Germs?
This is a pretty interesting episode, especially how the last one ended off.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was really focused on Bajie. I think you would probably agree on this one here.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting seeing, our boy Takemichi, trying to like stop what he knows from happening, trying to make sure, Mikey doesn't kill Kazutora, make sure Baji doesn't get killed. So, I forget if it was this week's episode or last week's episode where there was some real jank. Well, I think it's probably both the episodes, honestly, but a little bit of jank animation in there. But
You ask
other
you
than
ask you ask me it's both, but I'll get to my thoughts on it.
Yeah. But other than the animation, putting that aside, which is probably hard for you sometimes, but for me, putting that animation aside, the actual content episode was nice, the nice talk. A little bit of some spicy, action, well, not action, twist with like Baji still getting stabbed by
Mm-hmm.
that one dude.
Kisaki,
then-
I believe his name is.
Yeah, so that was pretty interesting. It's like, oh shit, he's like Mikey, not Takemichi thought he saved Baji, but then, bam, he got stabbed like instantly right after.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what's his name? Who's that? The villain dude, the villain, the more tan boy, like big villain.
Tamboy, big villain. Looking for him, not seeing him. What's he look like?
He's the one that they keep talking about, the one that's gonna fuck over Tomon. The guy that
I know who you're talking about. Dude, there's so many this is another thing I'll have to say, but there's a lot of characters in the show. I honestly don't know his name. Can't think of it, but I know who you're talking about. He's like kind of like the new bad guy that we're kind of focusing on here.
Mm-hmm. So then that seeing him like saving Mikey, and then everyone's like, and then Takemichi's like, oh fuck, no, they're all gonna like, be on his side and all that kind of stuff. He's gonna, rise to the ranks with all this respect he's getting.
Yeah.
But our boy Takemichi knew this, like, he's just using this opportunity because, the other guy that was attacking was, on his side. So it's like spicy little things going on here. The ending was a little just he just like showed up behind and beat up his bodyguard right behind him, and he's like, okay, now I'm gonna beat your ass. So we'll see how the next episode goes. So
yeah, how did it end? I forgot how it ended.
Yeah, so Baji came, like, he was the big villain was talking to his bodyguard behind him. He was like, oh, you better keep me safe, or because Baji's the only one that's ever beat me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And then Baji came and beat that bodyguard, but then, started spewing blood all over the place. So maybe he's gonna live, maybe not. Maybe he'll, get one last hit on the big bad villain, or maybe he'll run away. We don't know. There's some spicy little things I still don't know.
Yeah.
But what did you think about thoughts? This?
Well, I got a lot of thoughts for this one, so strap the fuck in for this one. Get ready for a roast fest. All right.
Here we go.
I call it like I see it, right? I'm not here to please anybody. I'm here to give my honest thoughts, honest opinions. This was like the 4th episode in a row that just sucked. Like, I watched this episode and I'm like, I'm getting nothing out of this. This whole fight's stupid. We got people climbing up cars and shit. I don't know, man. It's just like, do we need 2 episodes of just pure action that's not even animated that well? And I know what people are going to say. Why are you so harsh on the animation? Because I'm trying to watch anime. It's visual. If I didn't care about the animation, I'd go read the manga. But I want to see it animated, so that's why I care about the animation. And it's all about expectations. I don't expect the animation to be god tier in every show I watch. You have to set your expectations, sort of according to the industry. And I'm not saying that this is terrible animation, but, the faces look weird a lot of times. The action scenes really don't connect that well, It's really the drawings. Like, a lot of the drawings look out of, the proportions. It's just it's just getting boring at this point, man. Boku no Hero's on the upswing, but this show's on the downswing for me. It's hard for me to care about Revengers at this point. And there's a lot of aspects of Revengers I love. I love Takemichi. I love how brave he is. He's a great MC. He really is. A lot of people think he's too whiny. I think he's a great MC. I love Hina. But, Hina alone can't save the show for me, It's just, I'm just losing, I'm falling out of love with it, I guess that's all I have to say. I watched this episode and it was just a snooze fest. The action is okay. It's becoming a chore to watch the series. And for a series that is so involved and, it could just be the arc too. But yeah, there's just so many characters being thrown at us. It's hard to keep track sometimes, and I'm just falling out of love with it. I don't know. Do you feel somewhat how I feel? I mean, is it on a sort of a downswing for you, or are you enjoying it just as much as you've been enjoying it this entire time?
I think it went down a few episodes ago, but it's been kind of been plateauing for me since then. It hasn't been getting more hype. Like some things happen, some things like bring it up, bring it down. Like in the same episodes, like I don't know. I'm like going up and down a little bit, but it's kind of still staying kind of plateau. Probably like at
Yeah.
a 7 or an 8 currently.
That's what I'm saying. For me, it's gone from an 8 of me really enjoying it to kind of like a 7, where I'm watching it, but I'm not. All my investment in the show is being ripped apart from me. And listen, it's 4 episodes in the grand scheme of things. This one's gonna run for 24, I believe. I know it might just be this arc, but it just feels dumb, man. People climbing up cars, and it's just like they're in middle school. It's just I really like Takemichi sort of trying to work his way through Tomon, trying to change the outcome of the past, all the relationships that he has to deal with. When it comes to the fighting, when it comes to introducing a shit ton of characters and a shit ton of bad guys, I mean, how many bad guys are there in the series? You know what I mean? Like, it's changed like 4 times, where it's like, now we're focusing on this one. Now we're focusing on this one. I don't know if it's the pacing. The pacing might be fast. Doesn't feel fast to me. The pacing feels fine. It's just the storytelling. It's just not doing
Mhm.
it for me, man. These last these last 4 have been boring and just kind of a chore to get through, to be honest with you. If it was better animated, maybe I'd like it a little bit more, but it's not just the animation. The animation is just it's just an aspect of it. It's really the storytelling for me. I know that people are going to say, "Oh, well, he just doesn't like the animation." But I look at something like Revengers and it has a really good plot.
Mhm.
If this was given a better treatment, a better studio, this thing could be even more popular than it is right now. I mean, it's certain this anime has certainly boosted the manga sales, but I feel like people would be in love with Tokyo Revengers if we got like a beautiful, well done adaptation. And I just don't. The adaptation isn't doing it for me, man. The characters are drawn weird. The fight scenes are not doing it for me. I'm done roasting it. I don't hate it. Don't hate it, but it's certainly not what it once was for me. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we got 4 episodes. Maybe we'll turn around here. Maybe I'll fall back in love with it. But right now, Revengers is certainly not one of the more anticipated shows on this weekly roundup for me. But that's where I'm at. I know that some people will think that's crazy, and I know that some people will love it. I can only tell you about my individual personal experience watching the show, and I'm just not enjoying it like I used to. But got to keep it real.
Mhm.
I'm not going to come on here and say, "Yeah, it's great. I can't wait for next week's episode." We're here to say how we feel about shows.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I'm just usually more accustomed to not worrying about the animation. That's just my personal style, you know. Not everyone has
Yeah,
the same kind of style, especially between anime and manga, you know.
yeah. It's the animation, and it's also where the story's at.
Hmm.
Because there's been episodes where they didn't look great, but the story was really good.
Hmm.
I was really invested. Like honestly, the last good, not like the last great episode we had was when he went forward in time and Hina's car got blown up. Like that was peak Revengers for me. That was like I don't care about the animation. I love this story. And ever since then, the story has not been up to that, sort of high point that we've had. And it's just been watching, kind of shitty animation. Not
Hmm.
terrible animation, but not pretty to look at, in my opinion. Just keeping it real. So anything else you want to add for this week's episode?
Nothing much. I'm interested to see how they're going to end it off for this season. I'd imagine probably the villain's going to run away or something like that. Maybe it's been pretty interesting seeing what's been going on story wise. So hopefully they ended off on a nice point. There's still a few episodes, right? It's still a good amount.
4. We got 4 more. It's
Four?
going to run for
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, so hopefully we get to see some more Hina, before the season ends. So
Please.
that's hopefully this arc ends in the next episode or two, and then we get to more just chilling with Hina and whatever set up for the next season,
Yeah,
possibly.
listen. Yeah, I love the time traveling aspect of Revengers. I love when Revengers is plot heavy. Revengers is a very plot heavy show. I loved Takemichi's time with Tomon and his little group of friends. But at this point, we just have too many characters. I think this arc is dumb. I think this whole big fight scene is dumb. Like even during the fight scene, we got people watching. They're like, "Oh yeah, here's these two people. Here's this person," and they're just like watching, and it's just too much at this point. The action isn't
Mhm.
that good. Uh, yeah, I hope Revengers comes around for me. I really have been enjoying Revengers, but just not recently. For recently, it's just not doing it for me. Weebs out there, let us know, where are you guys at with Revengers? I'm sure a lot of people are really liking and enjoying Revengers, but there are probably some people who are feeling like me, maybe not the best adaptation. Let us know down below. Am I crazy? Am I not crazy? Where are you guys at with the series? We'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. And that's going to be it for our weekly roundup.
Yeah.
What a roundup, man! I mean, we had opinions on all of these shows. Not really something happening for each episode this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right, let's get to the biggie. Who is our winner of the week? So
Oof.
let's just run through the episodes and let's talk where we're at with them. But yeah, we'll start with you. Who's your winner of the week, Germs?
Oof. This one's a little bit more tough than the usual, especially
Okay.
with some shows on the upswing. Uh,
Yeah,
and now that Eaton's been added to the group, that's also pretty good as well.
true.
Oh, you know, man, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but man, it's just what my heart's telling me, man.
What is it?
what my heart's. You
What
know
is
how
it?
it be. Kobayashi back at it again, top baby. Let's go. Easy.
Yeah, for me,
Oh,
it's Kobayashi.
I
It's
know.
Kobayashi, and Kobayashi is just that act that's hard to follow. I think Itaden had a really good episode this week.
Hmm.
But it's Kobayashi, man. It's up against fucking Kobayashi.
It's
I'm
so hard.
glad
It's so
that
tough to.
I'm glad that we agree though. you know.
Whew. Yes, man. It's just like Eden's good, and like some of these other shows are really good, but it's just like Kobayashi just feels so good. It's just like I feel good. I'm done. I don't need to worry about getting left on a cliffhanger. It's just like it's done. It feels like it's two episodes in one, really, or maybe sometimes three episodes in one.
Yeah.
And then it's just like it doesn't feel like a drag in any sort of way. The characters never let me down. Animation never let. It's never let me down, man. It's never let me down. It's hard. It's so hard to beat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Season 1, there were some slow moments that I didn't care for, and I said when reviewing this week's episode that this season 2 has been better in my opinion. And to your point of it never dragging, never being too slow. Yeah, I mean every episode has like 2 or 3 parts to it, right? I can't
Mhm.
think of a single part of an episode where I was like, that's kind of like whatever. Everything has been fire, dude. Everything. Like there hasn't been
Mhm.
one aspect to a single episode this season that I was like, that was okay. Like everything I've thoroughly enjoyed. All of it.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. That's why it makes it so hard to go against some of these other shows. Like Eden's great, and but it's just like Kobayashi is just that step right above. The
It's that
characters
next
are
level. It's that next
yeah.
level.
So it's just probably some of the viewers are probably a little annoyed with us being the dead horse, but it's just how can you not, man? How can you not? If it wasn't good, we wouldn't we wouldn't be loving talking about it. We
Yeah.
always speak our mind.
We always
You
speak
know.
our minds. We're never going to placate towards what's popular or what you guys want to hear. We're here to. We're always respectful to the series and the animators and all that. But if we think something's good or we think something's bad, we're not going to hide it. We're just going to be fucking flat out honest with you. Last season we had Nagatoro. Nagatoro was the golden child last season. This season it's it's going to be
Mm.
Kobayashi. But maybe next season we'll have something more stacked where we have a little bit more competition, but we're not going to lie. We're not going to lie. Kobayashi's taking it. So what do the people think, Germs? What are the rankings for this season? You're Mr. Rankings, man. You're always keeping up to date with the Reddit rankings. We're going to throw it on the screen for you guys here. What do the people think? Because, we get to talk about what we think our winner of the week is, but what do the people, what do the weebs have to say out there?
Yeah, so it's very interesting to see. Something I'll throw the picture up for you to see, so you don't have to worry. But
Yeah, throw it to me.
yeah, so there it is.
Cool.
So not surprisingly, slime is right at the top. But looking at those numbers, like that's a pretty small number compared to some other seasons where it's like 10,000, 20,000, whatever. Like with the Attack on Titan, for example. But
Yeah.
seeing Boku No Hero number 2, it's not super surprising to see. Boku No is kind of a more popular show, but seeing Kobayashi right there and down below, it kind of makes sense. I thought it would be kind of Kobayashi on top of Boku no Hero, in my opinion, but I guess the Reddit people be liking the Boku no Hero more. And
Which
then to your
yeah, go ahead.
hmm?
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and then
Go ahead.
to Eternity is been doing pretty nice. It's been nice little watch. So it's good to see that it's up there. What would you say? What I had to say before?
Yeah, I was gonna say the top three don't surprise me. The order
Mm.
surprises me. The fact that people thought Boku no Hero is better than Kobayashi, it's got to be shonen fans who aren't really watching Kobayashi, or that sounds like like I'm being facetious, but you know what I mean. Like I think Kobayashi is clearly better, but I mean, different preferences, different genres. Slime
Mm.
doesn't surprise me, but really, Slime at number one. Again, how can I talk shit? I'm not watching it, not interested in it, not a show for me. I'm sure it's good, but I doubt it's great like Kobayashi. You know what I mean? Oh, you're watching it, right?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
probably good, but it's not like that Kobayashi level. I would assume. Is that fair?
yeah, yeah. It's a nice isekai, but it's not. It doesn't just feel good every episode, But since I'm really obviously the fly me to the moon OVA is it's not surprising to see there, but I was really surprised to see Sunny Boy up so high,
Yeah.
and I honestly
Over
didn't expect
Revengers. Sunny
over
Boy's
Revenge.
beating out Revengers. That's like I wouldn't have expected that, but okay. I guess
Hmm.
hey, maybe Revengers people maybe agree with me that it's sort of, on the downhill right now. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and then seeing the Great Jaya, it's been nice to watch. Nice little slice of life. It's not as good as of Miss Kobayashi, but it's a nice watch, I would say.
Yeah.
And then wow, seeing case study. I guess it's maybe a little bit more shojo there. Maybe that's why it's why up there. I haven't really heard in my circles about it at all.
Is
But
it a shoujo? I didn't know that.
well, it's got hot dudes. Hot dudes.
Oh, okay. Is it
being,
romance?
no, it's
It's just a sausage fest.
yeah, sausage fest with a bunch of hot
Okay.
dudes.
I just
But
didn't know much about it. Yeah.
yeah, but to me, the most surprising is seeing girlfriend and girlfriend above Itaden, man. That's a big surprise to me right there. That I would
We gotta put the meme. What's the meme with Star Trek dude, the bald dude going like that? We gotta put that
yeah.
meme right here. I mean, how? Yeah, go ahead. How?
Yeah.
How?
It's so interesting to see. Maybe I would imagine it probably had to do with the first like 2 episodes. I'd imagine to a lot of people. I'd imagine because
The first two of what?
of
Itaden?
Itaden. I
You
feel
think
like
it turned?
that's
You think it turned people off? Maybe.
I imagine that's probably the only reason I
Oh,
can see.
the rape stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that turned. Yeah, that's got to be it. That probably turned a lot of people off for sure. For sure. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
So that has a barrier of entry.
Mhm,
Girlfriend,
absolutely.
you're just there to see big titties.
Yep.
So I can imagine that's probably why
Yeah,
that's
that makes
down
sense.
there.
That's a good hypothesis on your part. Yeah. You know what's funny, dude? I want to talk to you about something like this.
Mm.
Because I haven't talked to you about this one yet. To Your Eternity, number 4.
Mhm.
You still watching it?
Yeah, every
Is
week.
it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a
Pretty-
little slow. I actually it being too slowed on my part means it's a perfect pace for you.
Probably. You know what's funny is because I remember you complaining about it at one point, like weeks ago. You're like, I don't know if I would have watched this. Like it's not like that up to snuff quality.
Mm.
I dropped it, man. I don't think I've said this on the show yet. I dropped it. I watched 3 episodes of it, and it's so unfair that I dropped it. It's just that I'm watching so much other shit, and like I gotta say, To Your Eternity has one of the most unique, sort of interesting concepts, like this sort of fucking sphere that transforms into whatever it's absorbed by, right? Like the wolf and the boy.
Mhm.
But man, I don't know what it is. It just didn't hook me in. Like, am I missing out? Like, does it get way better? Is it kind of like meh? Like, what do you think? Like, am I messing up by dropping it?
It's a more interest. It's a very slow. There's some interesting things that go on, but it's a really slow in my opinion. Um, it's not bad. Not I don't think it's top tier in any kind of way. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of great shows that aren't
I
even
mean,
on
there's
this list, in my opinion.
yeah, there's better stuff I could
But
probably be watching, to be honest with you, right?
yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
really surprised to see it up like at 4. I was expecting to see it like in like 10 ranking or something. Because there is so many other like top tier shows, but this is just kind of more of a popularity kind of contest. You can see on the right side there, you see Magia Record. That's nowhere to be seen on here, and that should be easily
Yeah.
on like the top up here in my opinion. This should be like,
According to you, yep.
oh yeah. So there's some other good shows. The Tsukumachi Moonlit Fantasy. That one's also a really nice one.
Yeah.
So it's just good. There's a lot of good stuff that's just kind of more hidden. You kind of gotta be looking for that kind of stuff. So it's just
Yeah.
interesting to see what the people be watching.
Yeah. I thought, To Your Eternity is kind of like the sad anime, right? I thought the first episode was so melodramatic. I'm like, my God, I've never seen a show really try to get me to cry or be sad. And I wasn't sad or nearly on the verge of tears. So is it kind of like, does it stay that way? Like, is it kind of like very like melodramatic and pulls at the heartstrings every episode? I mean, maybe it's not as bad as the first episode, but my God, that first episode was so fucking, it just felt melodramatic to me. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
sometimes it's a little bit more dramatic. Um,
Yeah.
so it's just there's some interesting things that go on in the show, the story that it has to tell. So that's why I'm continuing to watching. It's nothing crazy. I wouldn't be. Probably if I wasn't already watching, I wouldn't be starting to watch it now. Especially now, it's like 18 episodes in. But
Yeah, I saw 3 and just never I don't know, just never got the urge to watch the 4th. But yeah, I mean it's in 4th position, which is pretty interesting. Listen, the top 3 I totally expected. But to be honest with you, knowing how Boku no Hero's been, I really thought Kobayashi would be number 1. I mean, people were really anticipating it this season. And yeah, it's number 3. Kind of surprised, to be honest with you. But it was certainly going to be in the top 3. Boku no Hero, Kobayashi, and Slime. Those were a given. Those were, I mean, I think you would agree to, right? Those were probably going to be top 3 throughout the season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very very interesting season that we have here. It's a lot of more low key kind of shows. Nothing
Mhm.
like people are going wild and wild about like usual sometimes. So it's nice to have a little bit more slow season to watch some other stuff, more relax. Us play some Pokemon, Digimon or Magic.
Yep, yep. Yeah, because I still have a fucking backlog of spring, dude. We still haven't seen Odd Taxi. You've seen Vivi. I still haven't. Like, I still have a fucking backlog because didn't have. Spring had a lot of quality, but man, it had a lot of quantity. And this summer is, it's a little bit more low key, as you said. But guys and
Mhm.
gals out there, what are you making of this summer 2021 anime season? We're a little bit past the halfway point at this point. And yeah, do these rankings surprise you guys at all? What do you guys make of these rankings? All
Mhm.
right, weekly roundup in the books. Now we got a great weekly discussion for you guys. A little bit more personal one. This one's gonna be fun to record. All right, so we're the Weebs, right? I say it in the intro every time we record one of these episodes. But let's talk about our experiences being weebs. So, how does being a weeb translate to
The outside.
society? And yeah, exactly. Besides our parents' basements that we dwell in, what happens when we step outside for once? Where's the sunlight? I don't know. I don't know. Um, so yeah, I thought this would be fun opportunity to talk about anime clubs and what our experiences were because we both graduated college. So what it was like being an anime fan in college. So we're gonna start with you. I
Mhm.
could go on forever about getting into anime in the 2000s, but let's talk about clubs specifically because I never joined an anime club. That was like the sin. Like you couldn't do that. But you the mad lad, you did it.
As
So,
always, I'm always the one.
I know, I know. For those who don't know, we did go to the same high school together, that's where we met, and, yeah, certain days I'd
Mhm.
be like, "Hey, bro, let's go grab lunch," and you're like, "Nope, going to my anime club." I'd be like, "What the hell?" So, yeah, talk to us about our high school's, anime club.
Man, I feel like it was so long ago, but I think I joined the club in like junior year. I think I didn't join it like because I think that's when I started watching anime. It was like right at
Yeah.
the junior ended like near the end of junior year or so.
Yeah.
So
Makes
I was just
sense.
like, so I was like, okay, like oh, we have an anime club. I'll go with like a friend, another friend that's also a fresh weeb. Maybe we'll see some cool people. Maybe some cool people to talk to.
You don't say the last name, but what was the first name? Which friend?
Brent.
Okay, so you went with Brent. That's cool. Is
Mm-hmm.
did you ever go without him, or like you always went to the meetings with him?
I just went to the meetings, and sometimes he would show up.
Sometimes. Okay.
Some
How
yeah
how many people were there, man?
yeah. So like once I walked in there for the first time, man, like I could just feel the weeb sweat in the air,
Oh
the
shit.
humidity. I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Oh shit.
Those sweaty weebs, here we come. So it's like it was actually kind of packed from what I remember. It was like
No way.
yeah, it was like the classroom was like almost like at least like half or 75% filled up. Is high school classes for
15,
people
20
to
people?
yeah 15, 20 people, and it was just like people would just be sitting in their own little cliques and stuff. And then like after like a few minutes, like then they would put like everyone like the president would like walk up into the front and everyone would like sit down.
Yeah. What was any freshmen in there, or was it just like mainly like juniors and seniors?
I think it was a good mix from what I remember. There wasn't too many in my grade, but the ones I did see that I'm like, oh yeah, those are the people I was expecting.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, from the only reason I found out about this shit is because we used to go to lunch every week. I think it was like Wednesdays or Thursdays. We'd meet at a certain location, walk out, and yeah, I mean, I remember texting you some weeks, and you'd be like, "No, I got the anime club this week. I can't hang today." I'm like, "What the? We have an anime club?" I feel like that's the dumbest excuse ever, but it was a real thing. I never heard about it. I didn't honestly, dude. In high school, I didn't even know about clubs or anything like that. Right? I mean, I played a sport, but I didn't even consider or know about clubs. But yeah. Tell me, how did you I mean, what was the club even like, dude? Like, would you guys watch anime every week?
Yeah, so like usually like it would start off like I guess they would just like talk about what people have been watching and all that kind of stuff and just like some interaction like oh maybe yeah well when you get home watch this and recommend this blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then then they did like because lunch was on like 40 minutes or something. How long was it? Oh, I forgot.
45. It wasn't
45
even
or
an
something.
hour, dude. I don't think it was even an hour.
Yeah, so then we would like do that for like the first like 20 minutes, and then like for the last like 20 something minutes, we'd put on like an episode of the episode of the week, And like we'd be watching a show.
Would you guys vote on it, or was it just like, like whoever ran the club was like, we're gonna watch it this week or something like that?
I think it was a vote from what I remember. So like I've seen some really weird ass anime, man. That I wouldn't watch in my own time.
Yeah, like what? You remember any of them?
One for sure I remember is like Rosen Maiden or something.
The fuck?
It's got like lolly dolls or something, and I was like, and I'm like, I'm not into this shit. I'm always into those professional milfs.
I know, right?
Like
Uh
Rosen Maiden,
I'm looking
or
it up.
something like.
What yeah. Oh, this shit's weird. Uh
Oh
Came
yeah.
out in '04. That's interesting. Yeah, these are some fucking weebs to find some shit like this. What
Hmm.
did you Okay, so I nagged you fucking forever, guys. I got Germs into anime. I told him week after week, just watch Death Note. If you want to get into this shit, just watch Death Note. He didn't. What was your first? DxD? No, no, no. High School of the
Mm,
Dead?
I think it was High School of the Dead.
Whatever it
Yeah.
was, at this point when you were going to the club, you'd only seen like a couple, right?
Yeah, I think it's in a good amount, like probably like 20 or so. Because I was
Oh
going ham
shit.
for like, well, I went ham for like a week or two, man. I
And I
like,
didn't I had no idea. We'd go to lunch. We'd occasionally talk about it, but I had no idea you were becoming a weeb, man.
yeah, I was watching like a show or two every day, man. I was on that grind.
Damn, I had no idea. So
So
yeah.
yeah, so like that was basically like that for like a long while, and then once like senior year came around, once the semester ended, I kind of just stopped going there. Then I mean, you just hanged and did whatever, and went with the other boys because I had a car, so I was like, I can just get off campus and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So you basically like that last semester of junior year is kind of when you fucked with it, and then after that you're like, kind of not
Mhm.
interested.
Yeah, I had a car, so I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, same. I was I was out of most of senior year too, man. Once I got a car. Yeah, interesting stuff. Any before we wrap this up, any interesting experience, any noteworthy experience, anything you want to share with the people out there? What it was like being in an anime club in high school? I didn't even know that it fucking existed at our high school. Let alone
Oh
would I have
yeah.
joined it? I don't think I would have joined it back then. You know.
hmm Yeah, I always have this one story. I always bring it up, dude.
Let's
Like
hear
I
it.
remember I
Let's hear
was
it.
like I think it was like one of the I think it was like Halloween or something, and like they were just playing a bunch of random shit, and we were just kind of chilling around, and like I was just like talking to this other dude, and he's like, "Oh, let me show you this," and it was a remake of the Higurashi second opening with like remade with like some like by like some fat nerd, and it was just
Okay.
hilarious, and we were just laughing so hard at it, and I just remember just laughing with this random dude just about this random meme on YouTube.
Isn't that the great thing about anime fans? Will just be like, "Hey, bro, watch this. It's funny." You know. So
hmm
was it like a live recording of a guy like recreating the opening, like a
Well,
fat dude?
he has some like green screen or something. You know, it's
Yeah,
on
that's what I'm
YouTube.
saying. Like he's in the
Yeah,
opening. This fat dude's in the opening
no,
recreating Higurashi.
no, it's some other dude that made it. But
Oh, okay, but it's
yeah,
okay.
another fat weeb, another fat weeb. Yeah.
Another one behind the camera. That's
hmm
interesting.
So yeah, so that I just remember I just remember laughing with some random weeb about that. And I never forgotten that. So you know, it's all just you know. Sometimes it just some memes can always bring people together. You know.
Yeah, memes are the ultimate equalizer, right? I mean, yeah, I remember in college, there was this one guy I was actually good friends with, and I'm gonna segue. This is a great segue into college, but
Yeah, you can go right in.
he would walk down the row and he'd be like, "Here, look at this meme," and then when I'd look at it, he'd be like, "Pass it to the person behind you," and I'd pass it to the person behind me, and then he'd peek over, yeah, pass it to the person behind you. So yeah, he was a great guy. He was in my my major, so I had a lot of classes with him. Yeah, all right, let's transition to college here. So we both went to community college after high school for 2 years. Then I bounced out to a 4 year university to finish out my final 2 years. And yeah, being an anime fan in a new environment, man. So here's a fun story. Fresh off the boat, I'm a transfer student, a junior, right? So I'm in my apartment with my three roommates at the time. One of them I didn't fuck with or talk to, but that's neither here nor there. So we're chilling. We have my PS4. Remember the first apartment? You were there. The
Yeah.
first apartment, the real shitty one, the real small one. Remember we had my PS4 hooked up to my little TV in the living room. That
hmm
little small living room with absolutely nothing going on, just two couches and my PS4 and a small little dingy coffee table, right? So I'm not used to my two roommates at the time, Zach and Brandon. You met them, and we're just going through my games because I'm like, yeah, like you guys can use my TV when you want. You can use we can play games. We could like chill. This is just for all of us here at the apartment. And so we're going through my games, right? And out of nowhere, Zach's like, okay, pause. Who brought this? Who brought this? Let's see if the lighting will get that. This is One Piece Burning Blood on the PS4. And then I'm like, fuck, right? Because now I'm at a crossroads. Do I say I'm an anime fan or do I say, oh, I have that game, but I don't know anything about this anime business, right? I'm like, yeah, it's my game. I don't really watch One Piece. He's like, are you an anime fan? I'm like, yeah, I watch anime. Then my other roommate Brandon at the time's like, "Oh, dude, you're an anime fan. I am too." And then Zach's like, "Yeah." Then the ultimate Chad move, right? He's like, "Yeah, I watch One Piece." It's common for people to say they read One Piece, but he's like, "Yeah, I watch One Piece." And then my roommate's like, "You watch it? Like, are you caught up?" He's like, "Yeah." And at this point, we're like, this is 3 years ago. They were easily into the 800s or 900s, right? So they were like, It's One Piece. It's been running for a decade." He's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm totally caught up." That's when I knew I was roommates with weebs. And so, yeah, that was like sort of, uh, sort of changing. life changing. So
Mm-hmm.
because from then on we started watching anime together. We watched a ton of anime together. We watched Hellsing Ultimate. We watched Ghost Stories in English dub, obviously. We watched Evangelion. We watched Steins Gate. We started watching some of the seasonal stuff. This is back in 2019. So uh, we watched Mob Psycho second season. And along with that season, we watched the first season of Promised Neverland. So once we
Mm-hmm.
found out that we were weebs, that's when we're like, oh, okay, let's start watching anime together. You know what I mean? But just
Mm-hmm.
that social fear of like sort of coming out, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't know whose this is. I have it, but you know, I didn't know what to say. But luckily I said I was an anime fan and we all were, and good times, man, good times. And then you came over and you watched some anime with us too, right?
Yeah, Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I got you into Demon Slayer out in when I was going to college. So that was my college experience. Out of my three roommates at the time, two of them were big anime fans. We eventually had to move, and I moved with those two roommates, so we still continued watching. Then I got another apartment, and only one of my roommates at the time went with me, but he was the one like I roomed with. And so we would
Mm-hmm.
talk about anime all the time. We wouldn't that's when we kind of stopped watching. He was busy, I was busy, but we would still, you know, he was like a weeb. Like he had seen a lot of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, good times. What's the chances? I mean, it just goes to show you how popular it is nowadays, but what's the chances you get stuck with three roommates, three guys that are your age, and you know, everyone's in their early 20s, and of the three, two of them are in an anime like you are. But not just like, oh, I've seen like Death Note or like Attack on Titan. Like they were like one of my roommates fucking was caught up to One Piece. Like that's fucking nuts, dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Goes to show you how popular it is and goes to show you how you don't have to be
Widespread. Yeah.
as scared of the stigma of being like the nerd or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of part of pop culture these days, you know? But talk to me about your college experience with anime because not only did you join an anime club in high school, you joined an anime club in college as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was an interesting one. I didn't join this one, go to this one as much as you'll see in a little bit, but that was a very interesting one. You know, these were a little bit more adult weebs. You know, the kind of people you'd expect to see outside. You know, in the college campus.
Yeah.
So you know, like the first like few weeks, like I remember I saw the anime club because it was club week. You know, so I
Hmm.
was walking around with my boy. You
Yeah.
know,
Big
just
club
seeing
week.
all the
Yep.
different clubs. Seeing like all the different crazy clubs and all that stuff, all those frat houses and all that stuff. And we're like, oh, it's the anime stuff. I'm like, my people, okay, you know, I'll go check it out. You know, I joined the high school one. I can check out the one at my school. So I go in there, you know, get my name on the sheet and all that kind of stuff.
Hey,
They
yep.
gave me like
I remember
they give
that.
me a little. They give you like a little pamphlet, whatever. Like, oh yeah, this is when we'll have our meetings every Friday at, you know, whatever, 5 o'clock, whatever. And yeah, it's like, and then like once I got in, you know, it's exactly the people I was expecting. You know, just more grown up. You know.
Yeah. Now instead of being in high school, now we're all in our early 20s, you know?
Hmm. Some a little bit later than that.
Oh shit. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. So like you know, I think it was before or after they had like little. It was after where they had like little. They sent like emails of like what happened the week.
Yeah.
So like I like I can take a look back and see some of the stuff that was like was
Oh
said.
yeah, you got some saved emails from your time in the anime club.
Hmm.
Yeah. What do you got for us?
Yes.
What are the goods?
Yeah, so this is an example of a week, one of those weekly meetings. So this is the second meeting I have an email of here. So they had a theme. The theme of the night was romance, since it was Valentine's Day that Friday. They
Okay.
voted to watch some shows on there because like they would have like a mystery pick each week. So they would watch like two shows, like long running ones, and they would have like a mystery pick and just like watch the episode or so you get into the series, you know. So this mystery pick was a Golden Time
No way.
or
Okay.
or Eden of the East. I think we did Golden Time on for that
Okay.
one. But
That's
basically, yeah.
cool.
So they'd be like, everyone would vote to say like, oh, what are we going to add on for this week to watch? And then like they'd like have a little raffle or something, and then like some like little game. Like this one was like taboo. So like basically you work in teams to describe an anime without saying the forbidden words that would give away the answer.
That's cool. So you did some like cool little games in there
Yeah,
too,
some
not just watching
knowledge,
anime.
some weeb knowledge.
Right.
Flex your weeb muscles, and
Right.
then we would just watch watch the shows, whatever was was on the roundup. You could guess you
Right.
could say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that oh, yeah, yeah.
I just always found that format to be weird because what if well, would you only watch episode ones or would it be like would you ever do like a ongoing series and do the latest episode? Because I assume like not everyone's caught up to like all these shows, but I assume you probably just did like episode ones, right?
No, it was a continuing on, but it'd be older shows that they'd be picking from.
But you wouldn't watch the same show every week, would you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you would. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was under the impression it was like every week there'd be something new that you guys would watch, but no.
Oh no, that's the third episode. The third episode's the new little something.
So first two are continuing. Would it be seasonal stuff
No, it would be
or
like
just anything? Just anything.
some older stuff. Yeah, some older stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, so we do that for a few weeks, and then COVID hit, and
Yes.
then it was all canceled. So GG, the rest of the
Yeah.
rest of the anime club there.
Yeah. How many weeks did you go before the pandemic hit?
I think it was like four or so weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it was COVID hit, and then eventually it got back on the next semester, but it was all online. It's not the same. Might as well watch online with my boys.
Yeah.
So that's how my college club anime experience got cut short, unfortunately. But that's just how it be.
Yeah. I mean, I joined some clubs when I went to my university, but nothing like nerdy like this. But you know, I actually don't even know if we had any. We probably did. I know. Do you know what's funny? I think I told you about this. We had a fighting game club, and the whole purpose of the club was to get people ready for Evo every year. So you'd be in the club at my college, right? And you'd meet every week. But the whole point was to get your skills ready because the club would go as a group to Evo. Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
pretty cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I looked at it, but then I saw the certain type of people, and I was like, I don't know if I'd mesh well with these people. I'm a weeb, but I'm like a very social weeb, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
We're the model weebs here on the Weeb retreat. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's cool. I assume you like your college anime club more than your high school anime club. I think that's
Yeah,
safe to say.
yeah. You had more free time, more time to just chill and play whatever, do whatever. So it was a little bit more chill after a class was waiting for traffic to die down. Killing time, the usual.
Yeah, yeah, I never got that club experience, but I did have the roommate experience, which is really cool because everyone would come home from class and we would all be like, uh, okay, when are we gonna finish this episode tonight? Or like this comes out on Wednesday. Like, should we like you get off practice at this time? I have a class at whatever. We'd all sort of arrange to meet to watch episodes on certain days of the week. I just want to
Mm.
run down some of the shows I watched with my roommates because it was really cool, man. It was really cool having weeb roommates. First one was Helsing. We watched that in October. I don't know why we picked Helsing Ultimate, but I think my roommate that I like roomed with, he was like, "You haven't seen Helsing Ultimate?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, we gotta watch it. We gotta watch it." We watched it sub though. I would watch a dub if I'm gonna watch it with you. We're gonna watch a dub. Gonna watch it dub. Then we watched. So then it went. Yeah. So that was October. Then our next one was Ghost Dubs, Ghost Stories. We watched it
Oh,
dubbed,
the classic, the classic.
and we watched that in Halloween. It's not really. It's like a spooky, fun show. So we got to watch that in Halloween time. That was really awesome. It's fun to watch that with a group of guys that you're rooming with. You know what I mean? Like just the jokes that we would crack. And we'd always watch them at night. So we'd crack open a beer, put on we'd be watching them. So this was my first apartment. So we'd watch them on the my PS4. My PS4's browser on the
The
one
classic.
notorious, yeah, the one notorious site that probably shouldn't name, but everyone knows what I'm talking about, where you could stream. And then on the browser, we'd have to exit out all the fucking ads that would pop up. Some nights it wouldn't work. Some nights it just wasn't meant to be.
Hmm.
But yeah, so we that's how we'd watch, you know, the lengths we'd go to, man, the lengths we'd go to. Then we watched we started this on our on Halloween night. We started Shimonetta. You know Shimonetta, right?
Hmm.
That was a real fun one to watch with them. I got a funny story. I don't know if you ever met him, but the fourth roommate who I haven't been talking about because I've been watching all these with my two buddies, he was like weeb weeb, but I don't but not like anime, just like very unsocial, not good hygiene, very weird guy, right? So he's not like chilling with us at all, but he comes out one night and he sees the scene in Shimonetta, right? And you know Shimonetta, right? Very
Oh yeah.
etchy, a lot of sexual stuff in there, and he doesn't say a word, very awkward guy. And we're sitting on the couch, right? Remember that couch? He went to the he went behind the
Yeah,
couch
that
kinda,
corner.
like yeah, like adjacent to the couch, and it's dark, right? We would always turn the lights off, always be drinking our beer, watching the TV, and we just hear him, like, scoot down the wall to sit. So he's no longer going in the kitchen to get something, he's sitting down watching it because a very sexual scene like if our neighbor came in, we would have to pause it. That type of scene, like, oh, like, don't mind this, you know what I mean? And out of nowhere, he doesn't say anything. He just sits down and starts watching with us, which we thought was so funny. Very awkward, but so funny, dude. That's just the type of guy he was.
Mhm.
But yeah, going down the list here because obviously I got them all marked. Then we watched Evangelion. All of the a lot of these, like, they would ask me, "Have you seen this?" I'd be like, "No, but it's on the list." They're like, "We gotta watch it. We gotta watch it." So we watched Evangelion. Gonna save my stories with Evangelion's like the most notorious that I watched with my roommates, so I'm gonna save my stories with it.
Mhm.
But let's just say I never watched this show sober. We were always buzzed, always taking shots or drinking beer, so it was certainly an interesting time. Yeah, end of Evangelion, we watched that as well to cap it off. Then we watched, Devilman Crybaby. I remember that one was easier to watch because it was on Netflix. I believe it's on Netflix, right? So we wouldn't
Mhm.
have to go through the whole BS of watching it illegally on a, shitty website. So that was easy to watch. Then we started getting into the seasonal stuff. My roommate Brandon was like, "Hey, there's this show I think you might like. I'm not sure you'll like it, but you should probably check it out. It's interesting." Watched the first episode, hated it, thought it was dumb, but then the last minute hits, and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm interested." And that was The Promised Neverland.
Oh yeah,
Everyone
a
remembers
classic.
the last scene of that first episode. Then we watched Mob Psycho season 2. Yeah, this was like winter of 2019. We'd watch those 2 every week. 2 solid choices. I kinda watched then we moved, watched Steins Gate, marathon that. I have a hot take on Steins Gate. You do too. Maybe we'll save that for another time, but, yeah.
Yeah.
Kakegurui, they kinda watched it with me, then they fell off. I'm like, "Fuck, I have to finish this." Never was a big fan of Kakegurui. Yeah, that's kinda where we left off at. We watched a little bit of One Punch Man season 2, but that shit was garbage. I think I finished that on my own. Uh, JoJo Part 5, I watched that with, Zach a little bit. But he was all over the place with watching anime. But yeah, we had a good run, man. It's really cool to, we watched yeah, this is just a movie, but so yeah, I moved in with the guy I was rooming with. We got our own place, but then Zach came over one time. You were over. I think you were over from the weekend. Promare. I
Mhm.
think you recommended Promare, and we all watched Promare. That was a spicy time.
Mhm.
But
I remember
yeah,
that.
I never joined a club, but you know, having roommates that are into the same stuff as you is fun. Especially when you all geek out. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? You gotta watch this. And then, you know, drinking beer and just watching
Just
certain
chilling.
shows and like Shimonetta, that's fun to watch with people, you know? Because of like the
Mhm.
content. Evangelion, that was fun to watch. Ghost Stories was the classic, man.
You can't beat that.
We had a ball watching that, man. We would crack up laughing at that show. That show's made for a group of people to watch, you know? Well, the dub, but you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Why would you watch it subbed? Why would you watch it subbed? But yeah, that's our time with roommates, clubs, fun times. Anything else to add on your end? Any other fun story or something to share?
No, it was nothing ever really crazy. Unfortunately and unfortunately, I guess. It's just
Yeah.
it's always nice to talk to just different weebs and just meet new people. We all have the same love for the hobby.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool to meet people that are into the same stuff as you. If I could go back, maybe I would have looked into see if there was an anime club. I just never did, you know? But it was really cool coming home after a day of, going to classes and shit like that, studying for tests at the library. And bam, every week we'd be watching a certain thing or, it was just really cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, guys and gals out there, the weebs, what are your stories of have you guys joined an anime club or have you
Well, your
guys ever
stories.
roomed with people that are into weebs like you? Uh, Maybe not. I mean, it's probably not the most common thing, but if you have, let us know down below. We'd love to chat with you guys about it. Maybe you can relate to some of the stuff we said. Maybe you can't. I assume maybe like anime clubs are kind of like online these days. Maybe like via Zoom or some shit like that. I have no idea. I never got into them. That was Germs. That was me texting Germs every week, being like, "Hey, bro, let's grab a bite to eat." And he's like, "No, I got the anime club." I hated that shit, but in retrospect, I respect it because now we got a show talking about this shit. So I'm glad that you became a weeb. I had no idea that you were like getting into it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's great stuff. Yeah, fun times,
Spicy,
man. Spicy
spicy
times. And
stuff.
and then now, now we just watch with us or at home. Those times are gone. But it's been too long, man. We got to get back into watching stuff together. It's been too long.
Hmm.
All right. So that's going to be our weekly discussion for this week. We'd love to hear if you guys have any thoughts or can relate to anything that we talked about. Any clubs or roommates that you guys have had watching anime and having good times with. It's always fun to watch anime with people, except if they're loud and annoying. That's not fun. But if you got a good group of people interested in the show, that's always fun to watch with people. Let's switch over to the weekly news here. Not much news, but we do have two big pieces of news for you. Let's start with the big one. This is the one that's probably going to capture our interest more. Attack on Titan's final season, part 2. Got to say part 2, right? Is going to premiere next January. So we knew it was coming in 2022, the winter season. But what's interesting is part 1 of the final season came in December of 2020. So looks like instead of getting it at the end of this year, we're gonna have it at like a normal time, quote unquote normal time for next year. Yeah, so it's coming. It's coming winter. You hype Germs?
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped. I hate the name. I think that's the name I hate the most. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm interested to see how it continues and ends here because it was a pretty spicy cliffhanger that we got. So interested to see how much spice we got left. Everyone be on the internet be complaining and as always as usual, but it's time to see with our own eyes how it ends. So and I'm interested to see. I'm pretty hyped. I haven't seen the visual. I think there might be a visual with that announcement.
No,
Maybe. Oh no.
same visual, but like a little 15-second teaser trailer. I'm gonna send that over to you right now. Watch it. Tell me what you think. There's really not much to say. You know how these teaser trailers go.
Mm,
But yeah, I'm happy that it's going to be airing like normally, seasonally speaking. That way we can have it on a roundup for winter of next year, as opposed to
mm.
kind of putting it at the end of next season's roundup. So it's just going to be a little bit more clean and neat and organized for us. But yeah, we knew it was going to come in the winter. The only question was, were they going to give it to us early, like uh, part 1? But seems like no. Seems like they're going to do a January release, which is good for us. Would you make of that
Mm.
little 15-second little teaser?
Not too much in there, but some interesting stuff with a little kid or something, and then seeing that tree again
Yep,
or
that tree.
whatever that is.
Whatever that
So
is, we're anime onlys. I'm very hyped to see how that plays into maybe the founding Titan or the rumbling that they're talking about. Very curious. It's gonna start with episode 76. We are 76
whew,
episodes into Attack on Titan. Isn't that crazy?
doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like it, man. But
This is the
makes sense. Makes
conclusion,
sense.
man. This is the conclusion. This is a historic, very important anime in the medium. You know, it's big time. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
Attack on Titan, man, and it's finally going to come to an end, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, I remember back to like before the season ended, we were like expecting a movie or something like that. So hopefully the season doesn't skimp on anything because now we have a whole season here. They can't be skimping on nothing here. So hopefully we
Yeah,
get a good adaptation like we have. I would imagine before. So hopefully it ends on a nice end here.
yeah, I agree. And the last season had an abnormal amount of episodes. It had 16. So that's why they started in December so that they could finish it by winter of this year. So if they were starting in January, I assume it's not like a weird situation like that. So it's either going to be probably one core or two core. Maybe it's just going to be like 12 episodes clean, just within the winter season.
Mhm.
So yeah, what do you think? You think it's going to be at like 12, maybe
Yeah,
12 or
I think
24?
I'd imagine it's 12. I remember people talking about like how it's like not enough for a movie or something
Okay,
or some.
yeah, it's
So
probably going to be
maybe
a one core then. Just that one winter season, probably.
hopefully
Yeah,
they
very.
do it well.
Man, I just can't believe it's ending, dude. When did the first season came out like 2013 or some shit like that? Like this has been years in the making, you know what I mean? This is anime's like Game of Thrones, like this is like one of the most prolific anime of really all time if you think about it, you know what I mean? And it's coming to an end. That's crazy. So
Hmm.
yeah, Weebs, you guys hyped for this one? Attack on Titan coming January next year. At least we got a month, a time frame for it. That's really cool. All right, let's switch gears here. Last bit of news for you guys today before we wrap up this week's episode. Another very popular anime. You may have heard about it, Boku no Hero. And you may have heard about what they're doing. They have a third movie, World Heroes Mission. They advertised the hell out of this movie. I mean, we saw we saw advertisements everywhere for this thing. They really let you know that it was coming out. And looks like it paid off for them because it's the highest earning film in the franchise. So it's beating out the other two, and it's made 2.06 billion yen. So that's roughly 18.74 million US dollars. So
That makes
for
sense.
anime, that's pretty good.
I think it's like the highest selling Boku no Hero movie,
It is.
right, or
It beat out the
something.
other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to see because like it's usually they were gonna watch the movie no matter what, so it's kind of hard to tell how good the quality is. But if
Yeah,
more
that's
people,
true. That is true.
it's like it'd be nice to say just like more people watched it, so it was a better movie. But it seems pretty interesting, like a more spy kind of spicy kind of story we got here, other than just like the usual kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I'm just interested to see what they got here. I think it would do. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. I wonder how they're gonna like top because the ending of the last movie was
Oh,
that was
that
spicy.
that
So,
that ending was nutworthy, man. All the Sakuga. That wasn't even a Boku no Hero movie. That was a Dragon Ball Z movie, dude. That was like that was crazy shit. Very weird. Doesn't really fit the tone of the series, but hey, it's a movie. It's kind of meant as a side thing. It was that was a
Mhm.
crazy movie. But I gotta be honest, dude. I haven't been the biggest advocate of Boku no Heroes for this season, right? I'm kind of curious slash interested about this movie because I assume it takes place because like the big three is Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki, so it probably takes place in the Endeavor Agency arc, I assume. So if it gives us more story for that arc, because I felt like the arc ended quick in the anime, maybe it's going to give us more story in that arc, so that'll be cool to flesh that out a little bit. I don't
Mhm.
know. I mean, it's gonna be filler, it's gonna be original story, but at least we get some more time seeing them, under Endeavor because I felt like it was too quick and sort of unimportant in the anime. I mean, I know it's not; it's part of the manga, but I'm just saying it felt that way story wise. So to see them still training under Endeavor would be cool. And
Mm.
don't know much about the villain. I mean, I really don't know much about the film, but
Yeah, it's an original thing.
it's original. Yeah, I know the ending of one of the episodes this season tied into it. It was like a post credit scene after the ED. I don't know. Again, we got to look at these movies on their own and see if they how they stand up. But yeah, are you hyped for this one, or is it just kind of like another Boku no Hero movie for you?
I think of the Boku no Hero movies, I think this is the most interesting one we've
Yeah,
gotten so far. This seems like an actually kind of spicy thing. Espionage, spies, Deku's most wanted or something crazy like that. So it seems like they're doing something spicy with this. They're not just, oh, everyone, like, especially with this one, like everyone's here this time. I guess most people were there at the the first movie, and I
yeah.
guess in the last one as well. But I'm interested to see what they do here. I'm interested to see what they do.
The first movie for me was like just the traditional standard shonen side story movie, right? The second
Mhm.
movie was like very action heavy, like very like shonen to the max, like DBZ. So the first one, cookie cutter, generic, not bad but good, like decent, very generic shonen side plot movie. Second movie, like fucking Dragon Ball Z, Sakuga up the ass. I wonder, very two different styles. I wonder where this third one goes. Like you mentioned, the spy sort of detective angle. I like that. I just like that every movie they're doing something different. You know what I mean? Which is cool.
Yeah,
Spices it up a little bit.
yeah, I definitely agree. I'd be pretty annoyed if they're kind of sticking to the more generic kind of story, but I guess technically spies, whatever's generic, but whatever. This is new for the series. New for the
It's new
series.
for the series. It's new for Boku no Hero for sure.
Hmm. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. We're definitely gonna be watching this in the theaters and probably have a review on it whenever it comes out.
Yeah, I probably should have looked up when it's coming out in America. But yeah, we're definitely gonna watch it in the theaters, bro.
Hmm. Yeah, I would be.
Says Give me just half a second, because obviously when you type it in, gives you like the Japanese release date, which was the 6th. But that don't
Yeah,
help
yeah.
us. I want the American release date, whatever it is. I think it's November 26th
Huh.
is what I'm reading. So
Whew, that's pretty close, actually. It's pretty spicy. So
that is. But what's funny is like Boku no Hero gets like that simuldub treatment. So I'm not surprised. Like Crunchyroll, like they're big on Boku no Hero. You know what I mean? Like they get that dub out quick. And I
mhm.
love the dub of Boku no Hero. So if we could see this in the theater dub, that'd be great. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not surprised at the quick turnaround. I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. But
That's nice.
yeah,
That's nice.
that's what I'm reading. I could be wrong about that. We'll put a little asterisk here just because I didn't do research on that. But from what I read, it was November. So yeah, Boku no Heroes gets a third movie. It's doing better than the first two. I guess the all those fucking advertisements paid off because there was a fuck ton of them. There was a lot of them for this one. Yeah, that's gonna be the weekly news. What'd you guys make of this week's episode? Quick turnaround for us, man.
The
Uh
fastest.
the fastest, man. We're pumping out this quality content for you weebs. Just for you guys, just for the subscribers out there. So yeah, that'll be it, weebs. We hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you're a weeb like we are. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, you can also follow us on there. Also, the other social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Any final thoughts for this week's episode, Germs?
No, nothing much. If people are watching some of that more low key kind of shows this season, which is I think that you probably should be if this season because there's not that much going on. But wherever you're watching, wherever you're liking, throw it down in the comments down below. I'm probably going to be watching it, so I'll be able to talk to you about it.
Yeah, we always interact with the comments. So whatever you guys think of the season, whatever you're watching this season, any of the news we talked on, any of the personal stories we shared, yeah, drop a comment. We will always be interacting with you guys, and we love hearing from you guys. And that's going to be it for this show. We gave you guys a great show, and we will be back next week. So that'll do it. Weeb's out. See you guys next week.